Welcome, Transformer fans. My name is Composite Enerjoe, and today's review is on the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Leader Class Shockwave. And here he is in his very, very impressive alt mode, which is a Cybertronian battleship. And this looks really good. I have no complaints about this. This actually looks really awesome. It's nicely sized. Like this is a leader class sized alt mode. But when we get to his other forms, you'll understand why the air quotes. But yeah, nice solid figure. Nice bits of details all around, lots of cannons, lots of guns. I want to assume that this is also a main cannon. If not, it's a big engine. He does have a little landing gear here, but I'll show that off in his secondary alt mode, because he technically has a secondary alt mode. And yeah, just very, very well done. I actually really like the look of this. This looks really menacing and imposing. Oh, and a nice bit of detail, which I don't think I've ever seen before, is that if you look at the bridge here, yeah, they gave it light piping. So that's kind of cool. And it's also a single eye, which is also a nice detail of, Shockwave. So yeah, overall, this is a very impressive alt mode. But now I'm going to get to his, not really transformation. I'm going to take away his armor to show you his secondary alt mode. So these are his accessories. Take these off. Then come in here and peel these off. Like so. Ouch. And these are his armor pieces. These are his weapons and armors. And now here we have a set of a battleship. This is just a spaceship, this is basically Shockwave by himself. And you can see he has the little landing gear, which you can just fold up like so. It's on double hinges, and put that down and keep whacking it. And yeah, and it's okay. It's a bit thin for my liking. However, what's interesting about this mode is that if you fold down the little bridge wings and turn it upside down, it's starting to look a little more familiar. Yeah, let me just grab it there, and I'm like, yeah. They were able to sneak in, I don't know about sneak in, but they were able to put into this figure his original G1 blaster mode. Like, the official name is, this is officially supposed to be a spaceship, like so. But they were able to sneak in. Again, I'm saying sneak in, it's probably not, but they were able to also shove into this figure his original G1 laser blaster mode, which is very neat. I mean, I've always thought that outside of maybe smaller figures, I've always found it really dumb when the full-size Transformers turn into weapons like this. I've always found that dumb, but even I will recognize that this is a very nice homage. So yeah, so here we have Shockwave by himself without his armor. And let's get on to transformation. There's nothing really else for me to do here. So for transformation, it's actually pretty straightforward. What to do first? Well, I guess the legs first. First, you unplug his iconic cord here. And then you just start separating all of this. Get your nail in there. Oh, lift that up. And then start separating. Doobie-doo. Separate. Let's see. Accordion out. Line up, press. Accordion out, line up, press. And then you fold this in, and it should, and then this will peg into here. Like so. Second verse, same as the first. Rotate forward, rotate. Line up his feet. Like so. And then for the arms, you just open up this piece. Like so. Bring down the arms. Like I said, he's not that complicated. Then just fold this up. Like so onto his back. Then you pull this out, fold up for the head reveal. If you line it up at the back, it'll click in. Then you just plug this in either in this hole or that hole. I think this one's a little more appropriate. And here we have Shockwave in his robot mode. Like I said, fairly simple. I was surprised by its simplicity. I like it. A good figure doesn't need a complex transformation. It just can't be boring, and this wasn't boring. It was, It was short yet satisfying. It was quick and easy. So yeah. And as you can tell by this bright yellow light piping, he does have a very, very nice light piping. They give off a very menacing bright yellow eye look. And yeah, this looks fantastic. I gotta say, it's very G1 inspired, but this looks really, really good. Get a close up at that head sculpt, which is undoubtedly got nice bits of detail. Got nice bits of detail, but yeah, it's pretty much Shockwave. You can't confuse this with anybody else. So yeah, well, magical articulation. Head is on a ball joint. It's a little restricted, but it's on a ball joint. Arms, well, not counting the wire arm, but arms can go up, down on this hinge, full 360, swivel there, bend at the elbow, and on this hand has a little bit of wrist articulation, wrist action. And funny enough, so does this hand. You can actually rotate his beam hand. And with this cable, which you can, if you like unhook this cable from this piece, he gets extra articulation. But the cable doesn't really hinder his movements too much. He just can't do the full 360, but doesn't stop him. Nice detail. He does have a waist. Legs can go out that far, forward, back, a nice little ratchet, swivel there, bend at the knee, and an ankle pivot. So you can actually get him in a nice variety of poses. So he's very well articulated. Like, this figure is very, very well done. It's very cool. So now let's get on to the other part, which I'm going to say now. This figure is basically a Voyager with a bunch of equipment on it. Very similar to his Wavemate Ultra Magnus. But where Ultra Magnus kind of made sense to be designed that way, because he went from the white Optimus to the more familiar Ultra Magnus-y look. Shockwave here, for the life of me, I don't understand why they made him a leader class. You have all this extra stuff, which, well, I'm going to just attach it to him. So first things first, the most complicated part is this piece. You just sort of wrap around, you just pull this up, wrap around like you would in a vehicle mode. So like so, plug it in. You have a massive backpack. For these pieces, you fold in the wings, like so, and line it up with his boots. His little boots now. And then for these pieces, fold out forward, and then plug it in, because there's a port here into that plug. So shove it in there. Get an extra arm. Same thing here. Plug it in. You may have to like wiggle it a little bit because there is a peg there that kind of might give you a little trouble. And then here we have Shockwave in his super mode. Yes. Of all the characters to get a Transformers Armada callback, they gave it to Shockwave. Then gave him a super mode. And I don't hate this. I like the idea of super modes. I think this overall looks pretty cool. But, oh, and his extra articulation is just these pieces like have a swivel there and have its own elbow. And each one of these blasters can also rotate on its own. But he doesn't really add more articulation, just makes them bigger. And here's my problem with it. Shockwave by himself without all this stuff. Oh, and this stuff is technically modular, so you could like peg him around in other places. But I messed with that a little bit, and I did like the other outcomes. This is honestly the best looking one out of those transformations. Well, out of those configurations. And yeah, I honestly feel this was pointless. I think what they should have done, in my honest opinion, should have left out all these accessories, given him maybe like his own unique weapon or something, and just sold Shockwave as a standard Voyager. And I think that would have been a much better option for the character. Because all of this, it's not bad, but it was unnecessary. You know what would have been a much better alternative, like for the whole, it's a Voyager with accessories? I think it would have been better if they just used Soundwave. And hear me out. You have the Voyager Soundwave that they released, make it into a leader class box, but include his 4, maybe 5 Cassetticons. Think about it. Imagine Soundwave, the Voyager class, but he also comes with, you know, Ravage, Laserbeak, Frenzy Rumble, and maybe a bonus buzzsaw. Just throwing it out there. A bonus buzzsaw wouldn't be my, or Rat Bat. You know, give Rat Bat a little bit of love. But yeah, I think that I like that. That would be, to me, would be worth leader class price, because that means you're getting, you know, a potential 5 to 6 figures for the price of one. Unlike this, where yeah, it's a cool super mode, but to me it's weird, especially since the figure itself, Shockwave by himself, was already really good. Like, he didn't need all this extra stuff. At least that's my opinion. So yeah, my biggest complaint with this figure is that he didn't need to be a leader class, and he didn't need all this extra equipment on him. It's not bad, but again, I would have preferred if it was just the Voyager by himself. I think that was more than enough. Again, two size comparisons. And it also doesn't help that he's actually a fairly small leader class. I think when he has his super mode, he's just slightly bigger than a Voyager, but not by much. So here's Cliff Jumper Ratchet, you can see. And yeah, like I said, overall, I like the figure. I really do. I think this is a very excellent version of Shockwave. But again, my one complaint is that he didn't need all this stuff on him. He should, like, I feel he should have been a standalone Voyager, and they should have had the leader class position be filled with someone else, because he doesn't need it. Like, he's so good at what they did with him. They did such a good job by himself. He didn't need all this extra stuff. So yeah, this has been my review of the Transformers War for Cybertron. Again, not saying this is a great figure. War for Cybertron Siege leader class Shockwave. This is a composite. Well, this has been my review of him. And before I sign out, just to mention that please check out my very special person's Instagram right here. It'd be very much appreciated if you give her some likes and subscribers or followers or whatever Instagram works. I'm still new to it. Oh, and this is also my Instagram at Enerjoe7. And remember, more importantly, please check out her Instagram. She's very, very important to me, and I very much appreciate it. So yeah, this is Composite Enerjoe signing off. Peace out and be safe.